Hello everybody, Don't Get Shay here. Welcome to another episode of Don't Want to Say Movie Reviews. What can you say about video games? Who doesn't enjoy a good video game? Whether you're playing at home on a console or computer or at an arcade, they're always fun to play. In fact, some of them have even been adapted into movies like Super Mario Bros., Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Lara Croft Tomb Raider, and more. However, they never seem to do well. In recent years, some have been doing much better, like Pokemon Detective Pikachu and the Sonic the Hedgehog trilogy. Now, the movie that I'm reviewing this week is also a video game adaptation. It may be considered bad, but people have said that it's a lot better than previous video game adaptations at the time. Released on May 28th, 2010, the movie is Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. Film opens with a narration from Tuss.
Long ago, in a land far away, there once rose an empire that stretched from the steppes of China to the shores of the Mediterranean. That empire was Persia. Fierce in battle, wise in victory. Where the Persian sword went, order followed. The Persian king, Shahraman, ruled with his brother Nizam upon the principles of loyalty and brotherhood. The king had two sons who gave him great joy.
Rejoice!
But in the eyes of the gods, the king's family was not yet complete. Not until the day he witnessed a single act of courage by an orphan boy from the streets of Nasaf.
Get out of the way!
One day, an orphan boy named Dastan, played by William Foster, runs away from some soldiers. They soon catch him, but then King Shahraman, played by the late Ronald Pickup, by the way, shows up and stops them.
What is your name, boy?
Dastan, sir.
And your parents? Boy! Brother, take him up.
So Shahraman adopts Dastan into his family. 15 years later, Prince Tuss and Prince Garsef, played by Richard Cole and Toby Kebbell respectively, arrive just outside the holy city of Alamut. Meanwhile, Dastan, now played by Jake Gyllenhaal, is in a fight on the streets.
Is that all you got?
Prince Dastan! Where's Prince Dastan?
Prince Dastan isn't here.
Your Highness, please. Prince Tuss has convened the Ward Council.
I'm on my way.
Later, the king's advisor, Nizam, played by Ben Kingsley, is told by a spy that the city has been giving Alamut posh weapons for the war. Tuss says they should attack at dawn, and Dastan says they should go in first.
Thoughts to share, Garsif?
I ride at the head of the Persian army. Dastan leads a company of street rabble.
They may not be much for manners, but they're pretty handy in a fight.
The honor of first blood should be mine.
Guys, if your hand's on your sword again.
Where it should be.
Oh, my brothers. Ever eager. It's said the Princess of Alamut is a beauty without equal. We'll march into her palace and see for ourselves. Can be no doubt of your courage, Dastan. But you're not ready for this. Garsif's cavalry will lead the way.
In Alamut, Princess Tomina, played by Gemma Arterton, is told that the Persian army has not moved on.
Their faith has little love for any truth other than its own. Perhaps it would be safer if you didn't stand so close.
Whatever their faith, their bows aren't that strong, nor is their aim. Gather the council. Tell them I sit in the High Temple. I must pray.
The High Temple? Alamut hasn't been breached in 1,000 years.
Everything changes with time. We should know this best of all.
Dastan, who obeyed Tuss's orders, leads his own warriors into the city and they attack.
Sound the alarm! Hold this.
Dastan opens the east gate and then sees Alamutian soldiers going after his troop. So he heads to the impossible gate by going up the tower and going into its top room and tips over a large bowl of boiling oil and it creates a fire. In the high tower, Tamina wraps a dagger up and gives it to a messenger named Ahsoka, played by Darwin Shaw, and tells him to take it to the secret temple outside the city. On his way, he encounters Dastan and they have a fight. Dastan wins by knocking Ahsoka out, and he takes the dagger. Tuss and Garsif confront Tamina, who says that the city has no forges, and Tuss tries to get her to marry him, so there will be peace between Persia and Alamut, and then she sees that Dastan has the dagger.
Prince Tuss. Promise me the people of Alamut will be treated with mercy.
Later, Dastan's drunk and Tuss shows up, telling him that their father's coming and asks him where his gift is. Dastan says he misplaced it, so Tuss gives him Alamut's High Regent robes to show their father.
You fought like a champion for me, Dastan. Glad to return the favor. A rare jewel. Present her to the king for me this evening, Dastan.
Sure you really want another wife, brother?
Listen to me, Dastan. A marriage to the princess assures me the loyalty of her people. Unbound to us, she's a dangerous liability. If Father doesn't approve our union, I want you to end her life with your own hand.
At a banquet, Dastan gives his father the robe and then asks him to let Tuss marry Tamina. But since Tuss has had enough wives, he says that Tamina shall marry Dastan since he has yet to be married. But then the robe begins to kill Sharaman because it's covered with poisonous acid and Dastan is proclaimed a murderer.
Somebody help him! Save yourself! Seize him!
Tamina then takes Dastan away and they ride off out of the city on a horse.
My loyal subjects, the whole world grieves at the death of our beloved king. We are all stricken by his loss. That the murder came at Prince Dastan's hand only makes our pain worse.
That night, Dastan tells Tamina that the robe was given to him by Tusk to give to their father.
And now he stands to be crowned king.
I didn't kill my father.
I believe you.
You shouldn't be here. I shouldn't have let you come.
But you did.
I promised my brother I'd kill you if he couldn't have you.
Well, the solution would be to kiss me and then kill me. But I have a better solution.
Tamina then tries to kill Dastan with the dagger, but then Dastan discovers that it holds the power to travel back in time. He then figures out that Tusk attacked Alamut to get the dagger. The next day, Dastan decides to go to Avrat, where his father's funeral will be, and confront Tusk.
Every road to Avrat will be covered with Persian troops.
I'm not taking roads. I'm going to the Valley of the Slaves.
No one goes near that wasteland. It's filled with murdering cutthroats.
Yeah, so they say.
Your whole plan is suicide.
My brother murdered my father and left his blood on my hands. If I die trying to set that right, then so be it.
Ah! So you're going to leave me here in the middle of nowhere? Noble Dastan abandoning a helpless woman in the wilderness. What does your precious honor have to say about that?
Oh. Give me the strength not to kill her.
On the way, Dastan tries filling the dagger with sand, but Tamina says that it won't work without the right sand.
This sand, is there more of it?
Of course not.
How can I get some?
Try standing on your head and holding your breath. See what you were looking for, Prince?
Start walking.
They soon reach the Valley of the Slaves, where Tamina faints because of dehydration and then knocks Dastan out. When he comes to, Tamina's gone and she took the dagger with her. Dastan then gets captured by a group of merchant bandits led by Sheikh Amar, played by Alfred Molina, who is after the reward money for him.
Oh, I wouldn't even bother doing that if I were you. Do you know why? This is Sesso. He's an Mbaka. I had the good fortune of saving his life, which means that he is now enduringly indebted to me. So tell me, Persian, is there any good reason why I shouldn't tell Sesso to put his next throw just a little higher?
A few minutes later, the bandits and Dastan capture Tamina and he gets the dagger back.
Oh, she could smell a bit better, though. Still, we have a deal. Ha!
Clever princess.
Deal? What's deal? Oh.
Dastan and Tamina are then taken to an ostrich race where Dastan fills the dagger with the sands from the vial around Tamina's neck. But she tries to tell him not to let the dagger fall into the wrong hands.
I will take care of your knife.
You won't want to miss this.
You don't understand what's at stake. This is a matter for the gods, not man.
Your gods, not mine.
Come on!
Ostrich racing.
Every Tuesday and Thursday. Whatever they lack in beauty, they make up for in fighting spirit. And the races are easy to fix.
Amar then takes Dastan out to the racetrack where he reveals to him that the Valley of the Slaves is something he set up so Persians would keep away so he wouldn't have to pay taxes, which he hates. and Tamina is serving the gamblers of the races refreshments.
Yeah, you drop anything, you pay for it, it's out of your wages. Now, don't look at me like that, you know what I'm talking about. Do your job, crowd control, thank you. You know, I think our little arrangement's gonna work out very well, young man. She's a lively one, where'd you find her?
Amar sees that Dastan looks like the guy who killed the king, and Tuss offers a large amount of money for his capture, so Cecil, played by Steve Toussaint, takes the dagger from him and hands it to Amar. Tamina then causes a race distraction. Dastan steals the dagger back, and he and Tamina head for the tunnel, where Dastan opens the gate and he and Tamina escape.
Looking for this?
Oops. Next time, you!
Dastan and Tamina soon arrive at Avrat. Dastan hides in a casket carrying his deceased father, where he writes a meeting place on a piece of parchment and puts it in Nizam's pocket. Nizam finds Dastan and they go into that place where he tells him that he didn't kill his father.
You know I would never do such a thing.
Your actions speak otherwise.
But I had no choice but to flee. Tuss gave me that cloak. He was the one who poisoned it. Well, he's not here, is he? At his father's funeral. Instead, he remains in Alamet.
Our allies will see our invasion was just. The search for Alamet's weapons forges is important.
Yes, but not if there are none. The invasion of Alamet was a lie. Tuss is after power. That's why he murdered father. And now he searches not for weapons, but for the sand that fuels a mystical device.
He then tries to show him the dagger, but it turns out that Tamina took it while Dastan wasn't looking. He then sees that Nizam's hands are burnt, which means that he poisoned the cloak. Dastan tries to get away, but after running away from some soldiers, he then gets into a fight with Garcev.
Not fighting with sticks anymore, little brother.
That's all you got?
Nizam later has a talk with Tuss and Garcev and lies to them that Dastan tried to kill him. So they think about what they should do with him. Tuss says he should be put on trial, while Nizam says that he should be killed so he can't return.
Whatever Dastan's crimes, a public trial will best communicate the king I hope to be. Strong, honoring the rule of law. We are not savages.
You grow more a king every day.
Dastan must be found. He must be brought to justice.
So Nizam visits a group of killers called the Hassansins at an outpost and pays their leader to find and kill Dastan and Tamina. So they set out to find them. Meanwhile, in the desert, Dastan finds Tamina and tells her that Nizam killed his father.
Your uncle?
His hands were burned. He said it happened trying to pull off the cloak that killed my father. I've gone over and over it in my mind. He never touched the cloak. He must have handled it before. It was Nizam who poisoned it. What good does turning back a few moments of time do my uncle? None. He murdered my father for more than just a dagger. What aren't you telling me? You know, you've got quick hands, but so do I. If you want it back, you tell me everything. No more games, no more lies.
Suddenly, a sandstorm starts, so they set up a tent for shelter. While waiting for the storm to pass, Tamina tells Dastan the story of the dagger.
In Alamet rests the beating heart of all life on Earth. The sand glass of the gods. Long ago, the gods looked down on man and saw nothing but greed and treachery. And so they sent a great sandstorm to destroy all, wipe clean the face of the earth. But one young girl begged the gods to give mankind another chance, offering her life in exchange. Seeing the purity within, the gods were reminded of man's potential for good, and so they swept the sands into the sand glass.
She also mentions that only the dagger can break the sand glass and free the sands of time.
But the handle only holds 1 minute.
What if one were to place the dagger in the sandglass and press the jewel button at the same time?
Sand would flow through endlessly.
You could turn back time as far as you like.
Yes, but it is forbidden.
Dastan then tells a story about his father and Nizam when they were younger and how Nizam saved his brother from a lioness by killing it.
My father told us this story over and over again.
I don't understand.
Nizam wishes to go back in time and undo what he did. Not save my father, let him die. Then he would be king for a lifetime. And my brothers would never be born.
Once the storm has passed, Tamina tells Dastan what would happen if the dagger was misused.
Opening the dagger while it's inside the glass breaks the seal. That destroys the sand glass, causing it to crack and shatter. The sands of time would no longer be contained, and they would carry the gods' wrath with them once more, destroying everything in their path. And all of mankind would pay for Nizam's treachery. This is all that would be left of us.
She then tells him that the only place where the dagger will be safe is in the temple outside Alamut. So they head there. However, at an oasis, they are captured by Sheik, and he yells at them for what they did.
We've been tracking you for a week. That little riot you started, it went on for 2 days. My beloved racetrack. All washed away like footprints in sand. You see Anita there? Look at her. She's all that's left of my gaming empire. And no matter your skills as a promoter, you can't organize an ostrich race with just one ostrich! Am I right?
Sesso then takes the dagger from Dastan. That night, they're attacked by vipers. So Sesso gives the dagger back to Dastan, and he goes back in time to just before the vipers came up to the surface and kills them.
There. Persian, how did you do that?
Instinct. What?
We have to get out of here.
The next day, Tamina asks the Sheik and his men to take her and Dastan to the temple and offers them so much gold that not even 10 horses could carry. So they agree, and soon enough they arrive, and Tamina asks Dastan to give her the dagger so she can take it there.
Don't cut yourself, Princess.
However, the entire village has been destroyed. Suddenly, Garsif and his army arrive, and Dastan tries to tell him that Nizam killed their father. Garsif tells Dastan what Nizam said, and then suddenly, the Hassansins attack, during which Garsif is killed. They take the dagger and leave. Tamina then tells Dastan that her destiny was to protect the dagger no matter the consequences.
We make our own destiny, Princess. We'll get it back.
So Dastan buries Garsev, and he and the others head back to Alamut. Once they arrive, Sesso enters the temple and a Hassansin throws spikes at him. He stabs him in the heart by throwing his axe, only to have 4 spikes in his chest. He gets the dagger and throws it out the window. Sheik finds it and gives it to Dastan.
I hope your brother listens to you, Persian.
Dastan and Tamina enter the king's chamber, and Dastan's confronted by Tuss, and he tells him that Nizam killed their father.
Nizam, you're mad.
Who gave you the rope, Tuss? Who gave you the rope? You trust him, as did I. But Alamut wasn't supplying our enemies with weapons. Nizam lied to us.
Why would he do such a thing? What could he gain?
Listen to me carefully. Beneath the streets of this city lies an ancient force, a container holding the fabled sands of time. Nizam wishes to use it to corrupt history. He wants to turn back time and make himself king.
Sands of time? Heresies, Dastan, pagan madness.
No, I've seen its power with my own eyes, Tuss. And Nizam discovered its resting place. If we don't stop him, our world could end.
If you're gonna kill me, best you do it now.
This is no ordinary dagger. You press the jewel on its hilt, and you will see.
Dastan then kills himself with the dagger, and then Nizam comes in.
The soldiers remain out.
Stand where you are! He took his own life.
Then God have mercy on the traitor, for he chose the path of the coward.
We both know Dastan was many things, but not a coward.
So Tuss uses the dagger to go back in time, stops Dastan from killing himself. Nizam then comes in and splits Tuss's throat.
No! A moment.
Poor Tuss. So eager for the crown.
He then takes the dagger and leaves. Tamina then comes in and tells Dastan that they have to get to the hourglass before Nizam. So Tamina shows Dastan a secret passageway in the secret catacombs. As they make their way through, a falling rock causes the ground to collapse, and Dastan is sent down into it. Makes it to the hourglass, but is attacked by the lead Hassan Sin, and as he tries to kill him with an axe, Tamina arrives and saves him. Then head for the hourglass, but then Nizam shows up and they try to stop him.
Don't use the dagger down to your path! It will unleash! Unleash what? God's wrath! Hell itself!
Don't do this!
Nizam stabs the hourglass with the dagger and the sands of time are unleashed. Then managed to get the dagger to activate, and he's sent back to the moment when he first got it.
Princess Dastan! Princess Dastan!
Beast?
You're here?
Of course I'm here. Our men have surrounded Alamet's palace. The battle is over.
Not yet.
Dastan then goes off to find Tussengar Sif, and when he does so, he tells everybody that Nizam is a traitor.
Dastan has fought hard today, perhaps too hard. What he needs now is to get out from under this burning sun to rest, gather his wits.
The weapons we found are forgeries. There are no weapons here, Uncle, and you know it. And the spy who supposedly intercepted them was hired by you to persuade all of us to invade Alamet.
What is this, Dastan? Victor's remorse? You yourself led the attack, brought us this great triumph.
I should never have let the attack happen. But I knew in my heart that it was wrong. It will never be you. You will never be king. You don't have the heart. You will die in the shadow of a great man.
Tuss then tells his men to find the spy and find out if what Dastan says is true. Nizam then tries to kill Dastan.
You had what every man could ever dream of. Love, respect, and family. But that wasn't enough for you, was it?
Tuss then stabs Nizam, which kills him. After that, Dastan goes with Tuss to see Tamina, where Tuss apologizes for his actions and allows her to marry Dastan, who presents the dagger to her.
Royal blood or not, he's every bit a son to our father, every bit a brother to Ghasib and me. A true prince of Persia.
Get up there before I take your place.
Hello, Princess. It is customary to accompany a proposal with gifts, but I was surprised, and alas, I'm unprepared. I have nothing for you, save that which is already yours.
Tamina then takes Dastan for a walk, and they have a nice chat.
How can I trust the man that breached the walls of my city?
Well, I'm starting to think I'm no longer the same man who breached those walls.
That's a short time for a man to change so much.
Perhaps.
It sounds as if you've discovered something here.
What might that be?
A new spiritual awareness.
A destiny.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I believe we make our own destiny, Princess.
You have an unfortunate lack of curiosity.
No doubt one of my many flaws.
Please don't mock me, Prince.
Oh, I hardly think we know each other well enough for that, Princess. But I look forward to the day that we do.
The dagger is then placed in the High Temple, and Dastan and Tamina will eventually get married. And that was Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. What are my thoughts on it? It's pretty good. On a budget of between $150 million and $200 million, the film made about $91 million domestically and more than $244 million from the rest of the world, for a total of $335 million worldwide, surpassing Lara Croft Tomb Raider as the highest-grossing video game adaptation of all time until it was surpassed by Warcraft in 2016. Now let's move on to the production of the film. The idea of turning the 2003 video game Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time started when production company Jerry Bruckheimer Films went to buy the film rights, which Walt Disney Pictures would distribute, and John August would serve as executive producer. Jordan Mechner, the creator of the game, was hired to write the script, and he wanted it to be animated. But he couldn't resist the offer by Disney and Bruckheimer. So Jeffrey Neckmankoff was hired to write a new script in February 2006. In early 2007, the film was announced to be one of Disney's tentpole films and would be released on July 10, 2009. When November 2007 came, Disney had got into discussions with Mike Newell to direct the movie, which was based on Mechner and Neckmanoff's script. By the way, Newell was fond of Bruckheimer's films, which reminded him of Lost Horizon. But then came the 2007 to 2008 Writers Guild of America strike, which caused the production to be delayed. Newell's assistant played the game in order to give Newell key details. When writing the script, Mechner reformed the storyline to change the interactive perspective by video gamers to non-interactive experience by film audiences. When the filming started, the release date was changed to May 28, 2010 because the studio needed post-production time for the designs of the special effects. Another reason being that the film was rescheduled to be released a week before Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, and Disney needed extra time for the marketing campaign. Jake Gyllenhaal said that he was overprepared for the role since his muscles gained 5 or 6 pounds. And now it's time for me to give my opinion on the film. In the end, while for being one of the better video game adaptations, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time is decent. I give it 3 stars out of 5. Well, that's it for Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. Be sure to next we're going to be reviewing the directorial debut of the deceased puppeteer, or should I say Muppeteer. And if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell your friends about me, leave some questions in the comments below, subscribe, and hit that like button.
How crass you stand before me with no blood to fuel your fame. How dare you wield such flippancy without requisite shame? Your very existence becomes my